What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Johnny 5 Alive here. We're back with some more Rogue Stormers, and we are going to attempt level 4. This is probably the third time I've attempted it, and each time I've started off in a pretty bad situation. I think my situation's pretty good this time. My perks aren't that great. I have a nice chunk of health, but this level seems to be pretty difficult, and I haven't gotten familiar with the enemies on it yet. My damage is pretty jacked up, though. I haven't been getting very lucky with keys or perks or anything like that in my playthrough this time. The random RNG is not in my favor. That's okay. Oh. So yeah, I was thinking a lot about this game when I've been playing by myself, and I'll put more about this in my review, but the game is a lot easier single player, which is really unfortunate because they sell it in a 2-pack, they sell it in a 4-pack, it's discounted when you buy a package, and it's also on sale. It's advertised as a multiplayer game, yet the multiplayer is much more punishing. And the thing that's like, I'm okay with a difficult co-op game. That's why I like playing co-op, because it's a challenge for me and my friend to overcome. But the feeling that this game gives you after you've played single player is when you start playing with a friend, you kind of think to yourself, oh, well, that wouldn't have happened if I was playing by myself, or, oh, that's unfortunate, or that's a bad game design choice because of like something that's bad in the game design for 2 players. For example, my bullets are blue, and the red player, the second player, his bullets are also blue. So when you're standing on top of each other and you're firing, you get confused, like which one is mine. You can't really tell if you're the one that's, you know, shooting this way. Are you shooting slightly too high, or are you shooting slightly too low? You can't really tell because you're trying to adjust it, and your partner's trying to adjust it because he's thinking the same thing. And so you actually are less accurate, and I believe you do less damage because there's 2 players. So you're missing more, and then when you're overlapping on top of each other, you both get hit by the same things, and so you're taking more damage, you're not giving out as much damage. And overall, you get confused sometimes. You cross over, you lose sight of your character, and you're looking at your buddy's character, and it just gets a little bit confusing. And it's unfortunate there's these little bad game designs. The camera sticks to player 1 only, the host, and that is kind of a drag for the second player, as he can have a difficult time trying to stay with the host. And the host has to literally keep an eye on the second player to kind of go, okay, can you see yourself? Are you good in a good spot? So now the host has to play this kind of babysit the camera game. You know, if my friend's getting too far off screen, I got to kind of help him out a bit. And, you know, it just gives you more to think about when you should be focusing on playing cooperatively, not focus on trying to aim a camera to assist your friend. And it's just little things like that that make the game so much more punishing on 2 players. And then on top of it, there's, you know, I'm okay with all that stuff as long as you can, you know, progress just as far. Like maybe they give you more health to compensate, or maybe they give, you know, more drops to compensate. But the problem is, it seems to be that everything on co-op is shared. So you get half as much money, you get half as much health, you get half as much EXP points. So everything becomes twice as long. By playing this game by myself, just doing 1 or 2 playthroughs, I've already gained like 3 or 4 levels. If I do 2 playthroughs on co-op, I don't even gain a level. So it's while it's challenging, it should also be more rewarding, I feel. I think if you're playing with a buddy, you should get like double the EXP to incentivize you to play with your friends. And the thing is, I'm okay with the difficulty and the things that I mentioned earlier, but what I'm not okay with is being punished for playing with my friend in terms of rewards and objectives. So I get this feeling of like, oh, if you weren't here right now, I would have gained 3 levels, you know? And so now we have to play for 3 hours instead of 1 hour to get the same result, because we're leveling slow, we're splitting the EXP, We're not clearing the levels as fast because we're making more mistakes. And overall, you get the sense of like, why don't I go grind by myself so that I can get further ahead in the game? And it defeats the point of playing co-op. The only time you want to play co-op is when you're fully upgraded, your characters are maxed out, and you've got a real good handle on the game, and you're like, okay, we both have really good characters, let's go see how they do, and run through the game. And even then, when you have these maxed upgraded characters, you're going to be like, wow, I've made it further by myself. And another thing that plays into that is the perks. In a game like this, you want to feel powerful. It's all about obtaining power and becoming this merciful killer. Well, you have to share every single perk with your friend. And so that means you're always going to have half the power of that you would have been when playing single player. And we're looking at perks and going, okay, you're low on health, I got the last one, so you're going to get the health one. And then a damage one drops. And you're like, okay, well, I'll take that. And then another damage one drops. And then it's like, okay, you take that. And suddenly your DPS is split. And then one player accidentally dies. And all those perks are just wasted because that one player is not there to use them. And you're focusing on getting that player back. And all those things I mentioned, like missing shots. So if all those perks were on one player, I can almost guarantee that your chance of survival is that much greater. Because look at me, I have, I think, plus 40% damage from 4 different perks right now. So I'm literally just smashing these mobs. But if we're playing 2 players, we would be kind of divided. We wouldn't exactly be able to focus fire as well because of the chaos. So you end up, even with the same perks split between 2 players, you still end up doing less damage with the same amount of perks divided up. And then you also have that feeling of like, oh, like if I had all the perks that you have right now, my character would be so awesome right now. Or that perk that you just got goes really well with the perk that I have. And you kind of want to share and be fair and all that stuff. And you don't get to this like epic uber feeling that you do when you play single player. So it's a bit it's sad because this game is a fun co-op experience, but it's like it's getting a taste of something really sweet and then you go back to something sour. And it's almost like you feel like every time you play 2-player, you just feel like you're not getting anything done. And that's really unfortunate, because it just gives you this feeling of like, we lost, alright, I'm done playing for now, we didn't gain any levels, we didn't get any progress. And then but you still want to play the game, so you end up just going and playing by yourself. This game was advertised as a co-op game. It's up to 4 players, but the more players you play with, the more hectic and worse it becomes, and the more punishing it becomes. And it's just really unfortunate because to me it almost feels like a single player only experience because of all the negatives that I explained, especially the leveling. Like, for whatever reason it's harder. I'm not sure if the EXP is 100% split, but I can sure as hell tell you if I play this game by myself for an hour, I get way more levels than I do playing this game for an hour in co-op. And it should be the other way around. You should be like, oh man, I'm waiting for my buddy to get on so I can really, grind out some levels and get my guy a lot stronger. And that's the way it should be. Even if you're losing and it's more punishing, and you're like, oh, we didn't get as far as I normally would on single player, at least we're leveling faster, which means you'll eventually, because you're leveling faster, you're going to get stronger, which means you're going to be, with all those downsides of playing 2-player, you're going to be able to progress through the game further because you're getting those upgrades faster, which means the 2 of you are going to be stronger and you can tackle the levels quicker. But then it goes back into single player. You get all those upgrades in 2-player and you're like, okay, now I can go finish the game by myself. So it has this contradicting. I get why they didn't do it, but at the same time, it really incentivizes you to play the game by yourself at this point, which is a real downfall in my opinion. And we tried playing 4 players, and it gets even crazier. It's just absolutely garbage. It's just, you can't tell what's going on, and it just, you don't get anywhere. I really don't like that, and I somehow wish that they could have made it so I can go anywhere in this level I want, and it just puts me off their screen. Like, they'll just see me on their map, like, oh, Johnny's in the top left of the map somewhere, and we all get our own separate cameras that follow us. That would have made this game really epic, having that ability to, like, kind of free roam. Like, one of your friends is like, okay, I'm gonna keep clearing, why don't you go back because you have enough money to go back and buy that upgrade at that upgrade station. And it's like, okay, yeah, so we'll just keep clearing while you go back. Honestly, if they did that and the camera followed each individual player and you could kind of free roam the map and divide up, a lot of these problems would go away. And then also coloring the shots. So if I'm blue, I should shoot blue. Red should shoot red. Green should shoot green. And yellow should shoot yellow bullets. And if you had the color coordination, you had the free roam aspect, so you're not fighting over the camera, this game would be amazing co-op regardless of the difficulty. And all those things that I mentioned, because that's like one of the biggest problems. And you know, they could do things where they drop more perks, they drop more gold, they drop more everything, and then they definitely should drop more EXP points on the multiplayer. It should be the more players you play with, the more experience you gain. So when you're playing the game by yourself, you're really going, I should find a match and you know, socialize with people and play in public games, because it's really going to benefit me in the long run, and I'm going to get more EXP and level up my character and get to the fun faster. And you know, like, the thing is about this game is I'm playing it by myself, and it is fun, but as soon as I die right here, like, I'm on level 4, I've been giving it like a long go, and you know, I can't just save my progress and quit. I'll start the game over again. So when I'm playing by myself, I feel like I'm only going to do one good round and then call it quits for that session, because you spend all this time. There's no pause. I can't, like, or wait, maybe there is. No, I think enemies still spawn, unless it's a if you're playing. I think I was playing. Let's see here. Yeah, there's no pause when you're doing single player online, which is a little bit weird. But yeah, there's no pause in a multiplayer session. I was doing my single player sessions in multiplayer for some reason before, and just in case a friend wanted to join in, but you wouldn't be able to pause in those modes. So yeah, either way, you're going through these things and you're doing one big burst by yourself, and then when you get to a point where you die, you're just kind of like, oh, I don't want to invest all that time going through all those levels again by myself, because it gets a little redundant and it gets a little bit lonely. And nobody likes to be alone when playing a co-op game. And you're kind of like thinking to yourself, well, if my friend was here, I'd say, yeah, let's give it a go. Let's try that again. And you kind of feed off each other's mood and momentum. And you're like, oh, that was a really good try, and you're laughing and having fun. But when you're by yourself, you just kind of feel disappointed. You're like, oh, that's where it ended, and you just kind of like, I guess I can grind up another level. But here I am. I've played through this entire 4 levels. I'm on the 4th level now, hoping to beat it. And look at my EXP bar in the top left. I haven't even gained half a level, and I've probably been playing this for 45 minutes to an hour. So that means it's going to take me, even by myself, it's going to take me probably 2-3 hours to level, depending on how lucky I get and how the RNG works in my favor on the EXP drops and just the level design. Sometimes you get really good levels where you're just mowing through enemies and getting tons of EXP, and then other times you get really aggravating enemies. You soak up a lot of damage, and you have to be really cautious. So depending on RNG, it could take you an hour or 2 hours to level up one time. And that one little perk you get after that 1 hour, it's really not all that helpful. It really isn't. It's not going to make the game much easier. You're going to need like 4 or 5 levels to even really feel the difference, depending on the RNG of the perks. Like this one perk I got around me, this shield, the smaller shield that you see, whenever I get hit, it puts a shield around me, which is actually really helpful. That was a game changer. I'm able to actually get to this 4th level a lot easier just based off that shield alone. And Here's a perk. Firing your primary weapon periodically triggers a gas bomb. Cool. What was I saying? Yeah, the perks they're not very helpful in the sense that you're going to be like, hey, I got like so much further that time because of that one perk. It's usually not the case. Like the last one I got was a 3% increase of run speed. That was it. So I don't think that 3% run speed is really making a difference here. So I'm no different than I was the last play session where I played for 2 hours. And so my point here is you're going to be playing this game by yourself, gaining a level every hour or 2 hours, and you're kind of alone, and you're feeling lonely. And when you don't get that significant upgrade that goes, oh my god, that's a game changer. When you don't have that happen, you're kind of feeling like, I guess I'm going to go do the exact same run that I just did and feel no more powerful, and it gets insanely repetitive. However, when you're playing with your friend and you both get different perks, there's more of a chance that one of you gets something cool, and then the dynamic of the team changes. There's different characters. One guy plays one character, the other guy plays the other character, and you have a different a setup, and you can kind of coordinate that. But there's all those things that I say that make a negative experience with the co-op. So it's really unfortunate because with a few tweaks of this game, and I feel like they could patch this in or make some changes to this game, it could be an actually incredible co-op experience where you and a friend, or you and 4 friends, are absolutely addicted to this game, and you're just striving to get all these perks for your character, because you can literally get something like 50 different perks or more. Like, you could literally sink in hundreds of hours into this game. But like I said, you're playing this by yourself. It gets awfully lonely, and you're likely not going to be doing that unless you just seem to really enjoy the game. Me personally, I like to pick it up, but I won't only ever really do one session. I'll see how far I can get, and if it, and I'll likely get to this 4th level. I haven't made it past here, and I get a little bit further every time because of these upgrades. But now that I'm getting a little bit further, the play session's longer. I can't quit out, so I can't just walk away from the game, and I have to just see how long the play session gets. And that means that they become a little bit more tedious every time. The levels become a little bit longer, and I feel like the more I play, the less I want to play. But then, I still want to unlock that character. I'm determined to get that character. And the problem with that is I'm going to unlock this next character, and I'm going to want to play her. I lose all my perks because they're bound to this character. So I have to now start that, I've played this game for I think 8 hours now. So all my progress, my 8-hour progress, is all gone to this guy. 8 hours of leveling. So now when I go get this new character, I'm going to be like, oh, great, it's going to take me 8 hours to be as effective as I am on this guy, and that's hoping I get similar upgrades with the RNG. I could be worse after 8 hours, I could be better after 8 hours, but I have to basically reinvest my time into a new character. And I feel like that was kind of the developer's way of saying, we're going to add replayability, we're going to give you something to do, but they're really making it grindy. They're really stretching it out. And you have that, it has that reward factor where you get this craving to keep playing, but it's too stretched out in my opinion. They really stretched that reward factor out a little too far. Whereas if I were gaining levels faster, and even faster with my friends, I would have that feedback loop in my brain saying, keep going, keep going. Oh, 10% more HP. Yeah, I'd have that reward factor in my brain saying, keep playing this game, see how far you can get. And I'd be having a lot of fun with it, and then when I get a new character, I wouldn't be so disappointed because the levels come pretty quickly, and I'd be like, oh, well, let's start leveling up this character because this game's a lot of fun. It rewards you quite quickly. Summon an intern, more HP, reload speed. I'm going to go with the intern. So anyways, that's me ranting about this game a bit. Oh, that's like a 20-minute rant I've been playing this level for. It's going to be what it's going to be. This video might be a little bit longer than what I usually make, but this just so happens to be the level 4. It's the longest level, so you know, it is what it is. And I'm having fun talking about the game and playing it while I talk. But yeah, like I'm making knocks on the game, but I'm criticizing the game as a fan. You know, we make critiques, we talk about games. I'm not shitting on the game. I'm stating things. I'm making statements on what I think, you know, needs polish and what could have been better, because I do think the game has potential. So I'm doing it for the greater potential of the game. And I really do think this game has some good features and a lot of potential. It could have really been something great. And unfortunately, it has some hiccups, and it's not as great two-player. So I'm going to end this video here. That was my kind of rant about the updated on co-op versus single player. And in the next episode, we're going to just straight fight this boss that I got to. I've never fought this boss. If I beat this boss, I get a new character. So see you guys in that episode. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you in the boss fight.